Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. As you pour in, please take your seats. On behalf of the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, it is my great pleasure to welcome you here this morning to the Crypto Assets Conference 2024. My name is Ansgar. I'm the Vice President of Academic Affairs here at the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, and I really enjoy being here, and I'm very much looking forward to this day. The Crypto Assets Conference is the leading conference around topics to do with digital assets, securities, tokenization, Bitcoin, Web3, decentralized finance, and so much more. And it brings together key stakeholders around these various topics, from banks and financial services firms, exchange partners, regulators, legal service firms, ratings agencies, startups and scale-ups in this space, industry associations and academics studying crypto assets and digital finance. And in numbers, it is really the leading conference. We have today, although you don't see it quite yet, close to 500 participants here in the room, and I am sure they'll be pouring in the course of this morning, and also several thousands of online attendees. Over 60 speakers with 15 keynote presentations, startup pitches, and so much more. And I'd like to thank in particular our sponsors with whom who have helped to organize and to fund this event, and without their help, it would not have been possible to bring this conference together. In particular, our platinum sponsors, Moody's Ratings, and also Ripple Metaco, but also our gold, silver, and exhibition sponsors, and of course our media partners. So I would like to invite you and ask you to give them a warm round of applause. I would also like to thank those who have worked their backsides off in order to make this day happen. In particular, the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center. And obviously, this is always a team working on this, but there are two individuals in particular whose name I would like to point out. Alexander Laub and Manuel Müller. They've invested a huge amount of work, and without their help, it would not have been possible to pull this day together. So again, although I think they are not in the room, I've seen Alexander at least outside organizing the attendance, but nevertheless, please give them a warm round of applause. Now, I've mentioned these two names. However, obviously, one name is sadly missing from this list, and that's the name of Professor Philipp Sandner. Philipp passed away unexpectedly on the 16th of January. He was a founder of the Blockchain Center here at Frankfurt School, and he also founded this conference, and then worked together in particular with Jonas to develop it to become the kind of success that we see today. My words cannot express the sorrow of his untimely passing. Jonas, who's been working with him, as I said, from the very beginning, will remind us in a minute of all that Philipp has done. And of course, we will also celebrate his life here in this very space on the 3rd of June. There will be an event here with various speakers commemorating his work and his life. So I invite you to attend that event, and if you are uncertain about the registration details, please contact me and my colleagues to register for this event. You're all cordially invited. But now allow me to say a few words about this conference. Blockchain is getting more and more traction, in particular as the technology is increasingly converging with the financial sector as we know it today. And there are three main topics that you'll see reflected also in the program, in addition to many others. First of all, regulation. Regulation is coming to crypto land, hopefully in a beneficial way. Globally, we see various regulations underway that make the crypto space more safe, reliable, and future-proof. One example of this is the European Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, or MiCA, which is the first holistic crypto regulation globally. Secondly, as I indicated before, financial markets and blockchain technologies are converging. In January, the SEC in the United States allowed the launch of our Bitcoin traded exchange funds, ETFs, and those have broken various records already. And of course, the central banks have been very active in this space. For example, the European Central Bank and other central banks and payment companies as well are looking into how to leverage blockchain technologies for payments. And thirdly, 2024 will certainly be the year of tokenization. Various initiatives around this exist already, and BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, recently launched a tokenized fund on Ethereum with a volume of over $100 million US. So the whole ecosystem for crypto assets and digital finance, those ecosystems are highly dynamic and they are transformative. I wish you a wonderful day of networking, exchange, and learning from industry experts about these developments. And so I'm now handing over to Jonas. Please introduce us to this day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ansgar, for the introduction from the Frankfurt School side also to this event. And yeah, you also mentioned that this crypto asset conference is also supposed to be around remembering Philipp Sandner. So basically, a great man, husband, father, leader, visionary, and for me personally, also mentor, colleague, and most importantly, a friend. And yeah, also to give this kind of a personal touch, I would like to tell you two quick stories about Philipp that inspired me personally a lot, and I'm sure also a lot of people in this room. When I first met Philipp in 2018, I wanted to add him on Xing as a connection. So don't ask me why Xing and not LinkedIn, but that's what I did. And he actually, I added him, and you know what he did? He was responding like just saying, "With great pleasure, Jonas." And this is really, you know, just tiny words, but I was deeply impressed because I thought he gets, you know, myriads of responses like this every day. But he took the time to basically respond to this and also showed me the appreciation of me as a person, even if, you know, if I was in the beginning like a very junior, you know, just coming from university. And I think this is something that describes Philipp very well because he always appreciated what one was doing besides kind of his really great work, achievements, and what he had. And the second kind of small story is about, you know, a few calls I had with him, and this happened really in a lot of calls, is that he said very suddenly between talking about blockchain, crypto, how this transforms and revolutionizes the world, can I call you back? And first time I was hearing that, I was a little bit confused and was like, well, why is this call to stop so abruptly? And then he was continuing, well, my wife is calling on the other line, I will call you back. And he always did. He always called back a few minutes later, as promised. And what inspired me here, it was basically that he was an incredibly busy man, but he always prioritized family, his wife and his two daughters. And this was inspiring me particularly in times when I was, you know, working a lot and maybe deprioritizing some social kind of interactions. Besides being a man that was really grounded, a man, you know, you could trust, down to earth, always stepping ahead, he really inspired others. And I think probably, you know, dozens or even hundreds in this very room. So a man who managed to build uncountable amount of initiatives. And I remember after his passing in January, I tried to collect all the initiatives Philipp was active in. And I, you know, in the end came up with a number of 35. So again, 35 with one person. And then it turned out a few weeks later, I really missed a lot of initiatives. So, you know, some books he was working on, some visions he had for novel things that should have been released later this year. So it was not the absolute amount of initiatives, it was way more. And of course, not to mention that most of the work was also pro bono, so basically in his free time, right? So really putting a lot of time into bringing the space forward in this regard. And I personally haven't seen in my life, you know, such an intrinsic motivation combined with ambition to really make the world as we know it kind of a better place. So as Ansgar also said, the passing away of Philipp is indeed a substantial loss, both personally, but also for the blockchain ecosystem. And I think it really now also kind of lies a little bit with us, so the German or European payments and blockchain community, to kind of never forget him, to cherish what he was doing, but also to kind of address this gap as good as possible. I think kind of a gap that is too large to be kind of fully bridged or filled. But I think one step is also to continuing Philipp's missions and visions while remembering him. And this is also what this Crypto Assets Conference is also basically about, because I think it's super impressive what Philipp and the whole Frankfurt School blockchain team managed to establish with the CAC, as Ansgar said, kind of the landmark crypto conference in Germany, with this year's the 10th edition, started in 2018. Here, almost 500 people on site, later joining the day, and a few thousands, I think 2,000 online. So I think that's really a great achievement, and also showed how good Philipp and all the whole blockchain center and also the Frankfurt School is in kind of creating communities. So before we go to the agenda, I also would like to give just one last organizational comment. I also mentioned in the initiatives that Philipp had some more initiatives that he worked on that should have been started later this year. One of these projects was basically a book, which is called Rettungsanker Bitcoin, wie uns das digitale Gold vor der Inflation schützen kann. So it's in German. And this book is also sold during this conference here. And also the rewards are basically going to his family and his two great daughters. So if you are interested and want to see, kind of his work on this book, feel free, of course, to support us around this conference. So I think now we do have a really good and exciting days ahead with lots of great topics around decentralization, regulation, with great people, great experts here in this room. And to kind of guide us through this whole day, I would like to now hand over to Marcel Kaiser, who's, I'm sure, doing a very good job as a moderator again, as kind of every year. And yeah, Marcel, I think over to you, and guiding the audience through the days. And thank you very much for the attention. Let's enjoy the conference, discuss, remember Philipp, and have a really good day. Thank you very much.